Hi there, this is Dave Opdahl, and welcome back to our playlist on Implementer's Toolbox. This episode is going to be Ask the Right Questions. Based on the previous video that we did on listening, became clear to me that there are a couple of things about asking questions that probably just need to be refined a little bit within that same topic of listening. And again, I'm typically thinking about, if you're implementing a system and you're sitting in that discovery meeting or somebody comes up with a new requirement or something like that, and being able to really draw out the specific information that you need, that both parties need, in order to be successful. I think the first point, there are 2 points. First point is clarification. Make sure that when you are using terminology that it makes sense to the client, and the same for the client making sense to you. If you're using the same word, even though you're using the same word, make sure that you both have the same understanding of that word and how that's going to apply. For example, I was on an implementation where during the discovery meeting, we were talking about dimensions, okay? And they talked about dimensions, we talked about dimensions, and ultimately we were talking about two completely different things, but we didn't realize it and they didn't realize it until later. Now, fortunately, it could be rectified, but that could have been a real difficulty, right? So basically, just pull it out a little bit. When somebody uses a term, say, okay, for us, right, in Business Central, that means this. What's that mean for you? What does that word mean for you? Is it the same context or is it something different? And it might be, yeah, it's the same thing, right? Okay, fine. That's great. It's better to have it on the table and discussed than to just gloss over it and hope it never comes back. So clarification is one. The second one is asking the hard questions, okay? I get this a lot in reporting, right? When we've done an implementation and I've got to start to build out the reporting for the client, a lot of times I'll get a stack of reports, right? These are all of our reports, monthly reports, operational reports, whatever. And it's one thing to sit down and go through those reports line by line and make sure that you understand, what the requirement is, what's this supposed to mean, who's the audience, all those kinds of good questions. But you will sometimes get to a point where you're not so sure that they know, or based on just the way they're talking about a particular report, exactly who the audience is. They know who they send it to, but they're not quite sure what they do with it. And so it's always a really good question in that scenario to be able to ask, so what decisions are made from this report or are expected to be made from this report? Because if all you're doing is telling them information or showing them data, God forbid, just data that's already in the system, why do the report, right? But if you're taking that same data and converting it into actionable information, then you're implicitly expecting that they will, decisions will derive from that. And if that's not happening, then you really have to call into question whether that report is useful or not. And so, just the ability to kind of pull that out a little bit, to kind of tease that out. And then maybe if a report is really questionable, kind of push it to the side and say, let's talk about that one later, right? Let's focus on the ones that we know are really critical and yield results, right? So that's it. Real short video, just on asking the right questions as, again, part of that whole listening experience. So I hope this was helpful. If you like what you see, go ahead and give us a thumbs up, subscribe, leave us a comment. That'd be great. If you have other topics you'd like me to cover, I'd be more than happy to do that. Again, this is really just designed for just handing off 20 years of experience in some format of skill sets that I think might be helpful. So if it's helpful, great. Great. So try it out. Let me know how it goes, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.